So what was the last thing we talked about as a group?
Well, the last thing we left off on who is Savitar? We finally found out who Savitar was. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes. I knew it. I was right.
Yep.
Actually, surprisingly enough, it turned out to be Barry Allen, from the future.
It did turn out to be his time remnant doppelganger thing that he created to defeat Savitar, but he actually became Savitar, so in order for Savitar to exist, he would have to exist in the first place for him to create the clone, in order for the clone to get messed up and turn into the...
Yeah. So
It's
almost as ridiculous an explanation as actually being Sonic the Hedgehog, but yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. It would have been better if they did it my way.
Yeah.
It really would have, because then at least would have been somebody that would be believably in the show. I don't even know. They built it up. It's like, this was the first person to receive the Speed Force. Sonic, duh.
Yeah, like Sonic CD, he could seamlessly travel between the past and the futures. They could work it into the canon.
Yeah. But I don't know. That season was just kind of weird. And now we're in season 4.
Yeah, what do you think of the new season?
How was that?
I mean, I guess you haven't been following on Paris.
Oh, heavens no.
Okay, well, John, I know it's been a couple weeks. What did you think about the whole, him finally getting lost the bus menace? Just that whole dramatic.
I figured he was eventually going to get, what's his name? Ralph, because how else was he going to turn back into himself, into his own body? And that guy was the only one who could shapeshift somehow.
I mean, I always figured that was the end game, but first of all, I'm wondering what happens from here. But I'm also wondering if Ralph's actually dead, or if his consciousness is still somehow in that body.
Well, if it is, then all the other ones are too.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe.
I thought it was pretty depressing because Barry Allen's like, we can't kill. We just can't. We have powers. We're better than that. We can find other ways. You're an idiot.
Like honestly, that would have solved all of their problems. Ralph would still be alive. They had just killed the fucking thinker.
Yeah.
But murder is wrong.
But capital punishment is underrated.
And?
Yeah. So they had the chance to get rid of him, and then they was like, I'll just handcuff him because the Flash said so. And the Flash is a good guy.
Excellent.
So yeah, the Flash got people killed because he's a goody two-shoes who trips over his own shoelaces constantly.
Well, it was the right thing to do.
And now they're dead.
Exactly. It all worked out, so...
I guess we had to return to just the original cast somehow.
Yeah.
What else?
Wait.
What else did we discuss the last time Paris was on? Last Jedi trailer, right?
Last Jedi, trailer. Why did the Jedi have to end? And the truth is, no reason at all. No fucking reason.
I mean,
I still haven't seen The Last Jedi.
Oh my god.
You didn't miss much.
I have it on my hard drive, ready to go. I've been telling myself I'll watch it.
Did you borrow it from the Pirate Bay?
What? I don't know what you're talking about at all. Like, what are you saying? Like, what? Like, I can't.
I don't even know what I just said.
Oh.
Okay, well, I mean, the whole fan
base is pretty divided on it. Like, John at this point hates it. I still love it.
I have.
It's a good movie.
I have heard the controversy, like how people are kind of torn between this idea of is like the light side and dark side is kind of like is there in between, or which is right or which is wrong, and people don't really understand where they're going with that.
I mean
that's what I've kind of heard.
That's definitely one interesting thing about Rian Johnson's interpretation. Like he's starting to edge away from the good versus evil dynamic. He's starting to make it more of a gray area, more of a one side versus another, rather than it's more of a political struggle than a mythological, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like in his world, the Force is something that just always has balance. So like the Force is almost living because there's always a good or like a dark and a light, and it somehow automatically builds up the good and the light to just balance each other out. So that's their explanation for why Rey has all these abilities that she didn't train for. It's because the other guy, the dark side guy, has these abilities, and so you need someone to face him at an equal level. So, bang, the Force gives her powers, and that's it.
I mean, honestly,
very simple.
The rationale does kind of make sense. Like, I still want to see the Last Jedi another time, just so I have more compelling argument for it. But
it sounds more like the Last Airbender at that point. You must bring balance to the four nations.
When it comes down to it, so many of these fantasy universes, fantasy movies just fall into a lot of the same tropes, and Star Wars is by no means an exception. Doesn't mean it's a bad or good movie. It just means it has these pre-existing notions that still drive it.
It's a very controversial movie.
Yeah. Well, I don't dislike that particular concept of it. I just didn't like at all how they handled Luke, or the fact that some of the things I felt that they built up in The Force Awakens, they kind of just threw into the wind with this one because they didn't have a plan from the beginning.
Couple things. First of all, the whole Luke thing. I mean, keep in mind, it's been what, like 40 years since the end of Last Jedi, or not Last Jedi.
About 30.
So think about it.
You mean episode 6?
Yeah,
episode 6. So think about it logically. Like, Luke would have had to go through some stuff back then. He would have. It's ridiculous to say he would have remained stagnant over that long period of time. Plus, considering the flashback scenes we do see in the movie, it makes sense that based on the trauma he was exposed to, that he would have some sort of emotional change.
But I think that the arguments, like on the negative side, were like, why would he abandon the people he cared about most? Like, especially Han. Why didn't he used to be able to sense when they were in trouble? If you remember in Empire Strikes Back, he's like, I have to leave, Yoda. I can sense they're in trouble. So like, why would he just abandon them?
I mean, it's
like that this time.
I mean, we're sort of getting back into the Last Airbender. You look at the last. What was it? It's the second to last episode of Book of Earth, right? Like where he's trying to unlock the Avatar state, and the monk is like telling him, you have to detach yourself from reality if you want to achieve this next level.
Yeah.
So
it was like, was that before? Was that before or after? Like he went unconscious for like a year or something. Was that then grew hair?
Like literally
before.
This is like exactly what happened right before.
Like that cave battle they had.
Yeah.
Yeah, before the cave battle.
So I'm saying, like hypothetically, what if it's the same setup for Luke? Like, what if, in order to become the best Jedi in the universe, in order to become a true master like Yoda, I can't think of another like Yoda-like example. But what if you just need to detach yourself from your emotions? Like acknowledge they're there, but just fully detach yourself. Leave all your friends and family behind. Go into seclusion. Just get to that higher state.
Well, I would understand that. Go ahead.
This may not be the best example, but I remember for a while, the Knights of the Republic games or whatever, how they used to be canon for a while.
I mean, I've never played it.
I'm
semi-familiar,
Would you mind about to talk about the story things?
Yeah, go ahead.
What you just said was like the premise of the second game.
Okay.
Where it was like the main character who you were playing as, or someone who used to be in this war, and they're like, forget this Force stuff, and they went off and detached themselves from everything.
Right.
And as a result, they like lost connection with the Force until someone else with Force powers came along and was like, you need to come back to the Force because you're the last Jedi or something.
Right. Okay.
And
it does make sense. The Star Wars movies, and they're not unique in fantasy again, but they do draw heavily on Eastern mythology. That's a big part of Buddhism. That's a big part of Hinduism. You have to be aware of your emotions and detach yourself. Not Hinduism, Taoism, but the point is, like, it makes sense, from a spiritual standpoint, like why he would want to go off into the wilderness and just better himself.
Well, what I understood it was that he wasn't actually trying to attain a higher understanding. He just gave up. He cut himself off from the Force, and that's why he never sensed anything.
I mean
that's how I felt too.
But just considering the location he was at, considering like who he became, like I don't think he was detached from the Force. I think he was closer than he had ever been. But he just was using it in a more not recessive way, but just in a different way. If that makes sense.
Well, then here's another thing. Why would he make a map to find him if he didn't want to be found?
I mean, my guess is like he knew that eventually he would want to be found. Like it wasn't so much that he didn't want to be found. It was more that like he knew the time would come where he'd have to come back. Like as much.
Then why does he reject it? You see how I mean? How it's like so polar.
Look, it's a little bit of a paradox. I'll give you that, but I don't know.
Bipolar.
Honestly, I wasn't expecting to get into this argument tonight. It is a paradox. I'll give you that.
It's also like what John said earlier about if he can sense when they're in trouble, but he has this map to find him in case trouble has. So what was he sensing, or did he sense it at all?
Well, I mean, I'm guessing he wasn't sensing Ray coming. I'm guessing he wasn't sensing like there being this massive war brewing as a result of what he did to Kylo. My guess is he built the map just in case something like that would happen. Just in case like the eventuality of that happens. The whole history repeats itself. I don't know. Beyond that, like I would like to see
if he was connected to the Force, he would have known what was going on. He cut himself off from it. That was the whole story. That he just said the Jedi, trying to continue the Jedi path is what led to all the students dying and all this destruction. So he said, that's it. The Jedi must end because it only leads to pain and suffering. That's what I understood.
It sounds like whoever made the movie, he just kind of ripped off like Knights of the Old Republic too.
It sounds like whoever made the movie didn't see A New Hope or just abandoned all hope.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah, because A New Hope, the new movie kind of felt like it was doing A New Hope again.
Mm-hmm.
Up until like I guess the end when they showed the map.
And then they're like, Luke is the hope. We have to get him back, and then they get him, and he's like, I'm hopeless.
I can't tell you how many times we've gotten into arguments about Force Awakens. It is definitely retelling of New Hope, but whether or not you think it did anything different is what's up for debate. I still like Force Awakens. It's by no means the best movie in the Star Wars franchise, but it's not terrible either.
It was still a fun time. There was no point where I felt like I didn't like enjoy myself. But in the back of my head, I was thinking to myself, "This is kind of like A New Hope again." When I was like watching it in theater.
I will say, I did rewatch Force Awakens actually like right before the semester started. I was actually like in Orlando like right before the semester started, and it was like literally playing on the plane I was flying back home for. So I ended up watching that just to kill a couple hours, and I will say I think it holds up. I think it stands on its own as a new entry in the Star Wars franchise. There is enough change there that it doesn't feel exactly like a Hope, even if it did copy a lot of major points.
Well, I don't remember. I know I saw the prequels, but I really don't remember them. But I can probably say from what I do remember, it was way more exciting. You can get that.
I think anyone who's seen it scenes would have to disagree with
Seen the what scenes?
The Senate scenes, like the
yes, and let us not forget the trade viceroys with Newt Gunray.
I can tell you right now, I'm working on a degree in poli-sci, and I still find that boring.
I still have. Do you remember this perfect line from episode 1? How do you think these trade viceroys will deal with the Chancellor's demands? These Federation types are cowards. Negotiations will be short. Unforgettable, man. On par with I Am Your Father. Heavy stuff.
George Lucas isn't directing any of the new ones.
Honestly, at this point, I wish he was there just to oversee, like, just some kind of roadmap to where the story would have gone, instead of just telling them do whatever.
I was kind of under the impression that he was kind of like on the sidelines. Was that no?
He gave them his outline for what he originally had intended the story to be, and they said, "Thank you. We'll take that into consideration." Close the door. Garbage.
Into the paper shredder. Into the shredder.
Yeah, that's the story of what happened. I don't know if it's exactly true, but Yeah.
So what else can we talk about? You had something, right?
Oh, there's one thing from the first time we talked that I wanted to clear up. Paris, do you remember you were trying to tell us about a movie where Superman fixes a wall with his vision? Yeah,
I feel like that was.
That was
found it, I saw it.
Superman 4. It was Superman 4.
Oh my god.
So basically, if you think of anything ridiculous in the Superman mythos, it probably was in Quest for Peace. Aside from Pink Kryptonite, but I wouldn't be shocked if that was like on the cutting floor.
I
wish Pink Kryptonite was canon. Was more canon.
Well, so Pink Kryptonite is canon. Like it's in the Silver Age of Superman. But basically, it's the Kryptonite that turns Kryptonite's gay. So.
I see.
I'm surprised you didn't.
I knew of that one.
Are you sure that isn't the Rainbow Kryptonite?
Nope, Pink Kryptonite.
Okay.
I'm absolutely sure about that.
If they bring it back, it has to be Rainbow Kryptonite instead.
Yeah. Kind of like oil, where it's a rainbow sheen to it.
I came across it on Google once, and I looked at some pages on some kind of wiki, and it was like Lois Lane hung out with him, and they went for drinks and partied or something.
So here's the thing, like people, when they see the new Superman, they're like, man, Christopher Reeves is my Superman. I wish we would go back to those days. But then you go back and watch those movies, and I have to ask those people, really? Are you sure?
I've never liked the Superman movie.
I'm surprised you're not defending the what's his name, Christopher Reeve Superman.
I mean, he's great. He's a great Superman. Don't get me wrong. But as far as the movies themselves, they're not beyond critique and plot holes.
Right. Okay. No, that's fair. And you'll defend Man of Steel endlessly.
Oh yeah. Man of Steel is great.
Okay.
You know, Dawn of Justice now, I won't defend it as much because Justice League didn't continue any of the things that it set up, so basically the movie's fucking pointless.
Okay.
Like, you might as well just not watch Dawn of Justice at all. It means nothing now.
Honestly, like most of the movies in the DC Extended Universe right now, they can either stand alone and be decent, or they could stand together and be shitty. But it's the kind of thing that moving forward you can't look backwards. I'm looking forward to Aquaman. I'm looking forward to whatever the next one after that is. I'm still hoping the Flashpoint comes out within my lifetime. But
here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping they make like a direct Man of Steel sequel where it's just a good Superman-centered thing, and then maybe do a World's Finest, and then I'll just take Man of Steel and those movies, and then Dawn of Justice and Justice League will be like the weird, nightmarish alternate reality that we just want to not think about.
Okay.
That didn't happen.
Yeah, it never happened.
We'll see.
Flashpoint will fix anything.
Mortal Kombat versus DC? Never heard of it.
I like that game, actually. That was the game that brought back Mortal Kombat and then gave us Injustice, believe it or not. If it wasn't for that, no MK.
It did weirdly like start things up again. Things were like at a standstill till then.
Yeah. They should re-release that game on PC or something.
I've heard people saying it online for some reason. Like it's suddenly the debate, or like I've seen like people like forums like, oh, we should totally have that game again, or sequel.
You know why? Because Injustice had Scorpion in it, and Injustice 2 has 2 Mortal Kombat characters. It's like, why, if you're gonna have a DC fighting game, why are you putting Mortal Kombat in it when it has its own series made by the same company? Just do another sequel to MK versus DC.
Because Mortal Kombat has cool characters, I guess.
You know why? Because they already have like all the moves coded, so they just import the code into the game. It's like, who's gonna be DLC? Let's just take these guys we already made.
It'd be too hard to make another character for the DC universe. There's like only 5 of them that are good.
That is very true. There's Superman, and there's Batman, and then there's the other Batman, and there's the other Superman.
From all the realities. Don't forget, was it we got Pirate Batman, Flashpoint Batman,
Caveman Batman.
Yeah, Batman.
Cave Batman.
I didn't hear that one. Oh,
Gaslight Batman.
you got. Is that real? No, I don't believe you.
Yeah, there's a
Gaslight
like a Gotham by Gaslight.
Yeah, well, the book's pretty good.
I
haven't seen the
the
actual animated film they made out of it.
Ninja Batman. You know what crossover I want to see, like in the comics or an animated thing? 1989 Batman with the Ninja Turtles from the 1990 live-action movie. How great would that be?
I'm biased. I don't like the Turtles.
Like, you know how they've... well, I don't know if you know, but like recently in comics, they had a crossover with the Adam West Batman and the old Green Hornet, and also the Wonder Woman from the '70s series. Like they would draw her like she looked in the TV show, and it would just be a story that they're both in.
I haven't heard of that one. I haven't heard of the Green Hornet. Heard about it, Green Hornet, in a while. I remember the movie was the first time I ever heard of it. Then I like sort of looked into the show that they had for a while. Talk about Disney movies.
What kind?
Yeah. I mean,
has there been any like real new advance in that regard? I am wearing a Disney shirt.
Disney movies. So, by the way, Disney movies. So, Avengers.
Oh my God. Let's talk about the animated Disney movies.
Yeah. So,
Incredibles.
Oh yeah, Incredibles 2.
The trailer. Okay, so basically, I think it looks like the first movie, except the Elastigirl is in the role of Mr. Incredible. Like this time, she gets the job and he stays home.
Yeah.
And then they have to save her at the end.
It looks like it's gonna be like a more of a comedy centered one, where it's like he's trying to be a stay-at-home dad and trying to cope with that.
So it's like
yes,
your mom
because
with superpowers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's her turn. It's time for her to get her equal time in the spotlight.
I mean, when it comes down to it, like she still had a very prominent role in the first one. It's a movie about family first and foremost. You know, like that's not to say that Mr. Incredible's character arc wasn't important to the whole thing, but I don't think like Elastigirl being promoted front and center is going to make it any different in the movie. You know?
No,
I thought.
go
ahead.
I always thought that was like at the time one of the more let's say fierce or darkest, I guess, dark, like, you know, they went like the Incredible thought they killed his family. He was about to choke that woman out. For me as a kid, that was one of the most intense things I've seen in a cartoon movie at the time.
Honestly,
Oh yeah.
So it was like there was a lot of weight or emotion like on those characters a lot of time.
I just
was there to pick up on.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree with you there. I mean, I think I'm desensitized enough to violence that it just didn't really register with me at the time. Like, I knew what was going on, but I just didn't care. You know, I knew it was a movie. You know, and I don't know. I've never really had that emotional attachment. But no, yeah, definitely for a kids movie, it gets into some kind of dark territory. You know.
Yeah, and that was what's so great about it. Like they didn't just full Disney happy singing, bouncing around. It explored deep themes. It had the overall story of a family.
Mm-hmm.
It was superheroes for like the first time. That wasn't a major character that was already in the comics. It was just its own original thing. And it's the best Fantastic Four movie we got.
I've said that exactly like 20 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I remember. Aside from that, you remember in the end of Tarzan where Clayton gets. He gets hung by the vines. He's like, you see his like the lightning strikes. And you see his shadow dangling.
Yeah.
Did you ever catch that when you were younger?
I think I did, but I was just too young to like actually think, oh shit, this is a Disney movie where some guy just got fucking hung by his neck. Yeah. I was just like, oh, he dead.
I mean, I feel like
I didn't even catch that.
I feel like there's tragedy in like every Disney movie. Like there's at least a dead parent too, but you know, whether or not it actually registers with kids, or we just sort of brush over it so we can get into the crux of the movie. I don't know. It's like I don't know. No one ever really seems to mention the parents dying in Frozen, or the parents dying, and I don't know why Frozen was the first one to jump in my mind, but there's a bunch of films that are like that.
I never really understood the motivation for killing the parents off, because like a lot of the time it's like it's not like the character's motivation or anything that like moves them. Maybe like in Finding Nemo, where it was dad had to take care of Nemo alone because the mom was eaten by that fish, or I guess off the top of my head. But a a lot of time it'll be like, oh, you know, parent died, or is the opening, oh, this sad thing happened where so and so died. Like the opening of Up.
Right.
Very emotional, very good,
Yeah.
and I liked it. And there was a motive. It was like his motivation for the movie, trying to do the thing that for his wife.
Yeah.
Right.
That was the driving point. And when he had to challenge that, like when it came to like saving the boy or like fulfilling that dream, he chose. It was like there was some kind of force he had to go against.
Right. Are you questioning the power of dead parents? Why did you say that name?
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Batman.
Well, Mr. Batman, sir, you see, you need to grow up.
People die.
I was actually rewatching the old Justice League cartoon from the early 2000s, and I just saw the Christmas one, and you see everyone being happy except Batman. He's not in it. He's just like, oh yeah, he's on watch duty. I just imagine him there, like all huddled in front of his computer, going, "Parents, Christmas, parents."
But he has like a little Santa Claus hat on, and
he has like a little hot cocoa with the marshmallows, just like you like it, sir. Master Wayne.
Yeah, it's sort of getting into Lego Batman territory now.
I was gonna say, can we pick up on that? Remember before we started this, we were talking about how much I did not like Sonic Forces.
Right.
I just wanted to rant about that for like 5 minutes, maybe.
Okay.
Okay, go quick.
So what's wrong with Sonic Forces? You got everything going for you. You got the Sonic generation set up, classic, modern, create your own character. What could go wrong? Am I right? Steam reviews? People in Steam reviews? What could go wrong?
Oh boy. Steam reviews. I want to say, when I saw Sonic Forces, from the first initial trailer where it was like Sonic looking over Destroy City, I was not like hopeful for the game to begin with. And and then like as they revealed more and more trailers, it was like a good game. Like when I saw the create your own character thing, and I was like, these like I think he told me, he was like, these are like they're getting like Toontown characters. And showed the gameplay where it was like them running through like the gear thing. I was like, yeah, this isn't gonna be a good game. But like I thought Sonic Mania just happened, and I wouldn't like want to like. There's no way they would like just release something that like right away. Maybe I should be hopeful. And then finally I sit down. I get to play the game. We start off in Sand Hill, which is just the Green Hill Zone, but covered in sand. It was not the most enjoyable beginning. And then the stage is over in 2 minutes.
Well, your mistake was being hopeful after you saw the Sega logo.
After I saw Sonic Team. That's what
It's like that one Jumbotron video where he's like showing the Sonic team, and the guy just like snorts coke. He's like, "What the fuck is a Sonic?"
Oh my! I think about that a lot. This video about
Ape Music.
Play us out.
Ba-dum, 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 boom, 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 boom.